I want to welcome everybody who pops in tonight for a little bit of inspiration and wisdom. I am happy to say that I have an extraordinary person to share with you all tonight, and I'm so glad that she is volunteering and offering her time for us to give a little bit of, a relief to anybody's, situation, suffering, who knows, all the like. And I know that you'll certainly take something of inspiration with you tonight because she is that amazing and that incredibly inspirational. And she certainly has taught me a lot on my journey. So without further ado, this is month of March, Profound Wisdom. We're theming this tonight, follow the golden rule, which is do unto others as you would want them to do unto you. And I have Barbara Lempereur to join us tonight. Before I introduce you to the world, Barbara, I would love for you to set an intention, which is something that we do with my manifesting shows to get clarity as to what you want to see happen for this experience for the next hour, and certainly what your gifts would be to whoever is listening tonight, and then pick a number, and the number complies with my book, The Magical Guide to Bliss. The number refers to a page in the book that somehow always turns out to be the perfect message to align with what your intention is, and that would be the gift from me to everyone who tunes in tonight. So without further ado, go ahead and pick your number and your intention, and we are off to the races. Are you ready to go?
I'm ready. I am.
All right. So let me introduce you, and then I'm going to open it up for you for some words. Barbara brings over 20 years of healing experience. She's a Reiki master, a UN energetics practitioner, and a unified therapy instructor and practitioner, which I would love for you to explain a little bit about each one of those later on in the broadcast, or whenever you deem that you want to. Most recently, she graduated magna cum laude with a BS in psychology, which is fantastic. Congratulations. She's passionate about helping people to heal holistically by identifying the mind-body connection. A devoted student of life, love that. She's always learning new ways to heal, connect, and rebalance. Barbara, welcome tonight. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
This is such a treat. I'm so excited. Like I said, without any further ado, I'd love for you to share with us a little bit about yourself tonight.
Okay. Well, I have recently moved to South Carolina from Miami in 2018. We moved here. So for the last couple of years, my life's been on a new journey, new grounds, and learning new things. But I'm married, mother of 2 children, and I'm finding life to be really exciting right now in a whole different way. So.
Well, I mean, I'm certainly exciting is an understatement for what's happening nowadays. Tell us why you would say life is exciting for you.
Because it's when you realize that what's happening on the outside of us is not who we are, and that the calming comes from within us, and that we can reach that place. It's exciting, so that we know that whatever is happening will pass, because it all does.
I think that concept, whatever is happening will pass. I think that many people who may be tuning in tonight might want that to go sooner and later, all the uncomfortableness of what's happening. And so that we can take a, collaborative breath of release. And how can we get to that part sooner than later? On a metaphysical level, really, is what I think that a lot of people are searching for, seeking for, and not, having it be okay on the outside, so then you can be okay on the inside.
Okay, and that's a great question. And what it actually boils down to is learning to be okay inwardly first, so that it becomes outwardly. It never goes the other way around. We can't be not okay on the outside and try to become okay inwardly. We have to do it the other way around. But
explain a little bit about that, what you mean by, I know a lot of people always say when then, right? The when then conundrum. When this happens, then I'll be okay.
right.
But what you're submitting right now is a
Because
different paradigm.
is what is happening when we
Yeah.
do that. We're reaching outside of ourself to find the peace. When peace lies within us, it comes from
Mhm.
inside of us outward. And how we do that is by pushing away and turning off the very things that are making us feel completely out of sorts. So for me to stay out of the frenzy of things, I spend my time in nature, outside, maybe gardening or doing things, for going for a walk, doing simple things like that, and turning off the news and the media and all of that, just to give yourself a break so that you can feel the peace within yourself.
So I know that I want to give people a little bit of background as to the origins of our friendship. I'd like to call it a friendship now, since you were a very important part of my healing process. Certainly, I learned a lot of new tools when I went to Dr. Canale's office, and I was actually a beneficiary of the unified therapy that you were able to do with me. Um, I learned a lot, and generally, with regard to things that I learn, I like to share it with other people. So, I said before, maybe you can tell us a little bit about your tools and that what you've been trained in, so that we could know better how we can use those perhaps to help us in these times of uncertainty, which it really feels like.
Okay, so with the unified therapy is what that's about, is bringing your attention inward into your body. So when something's bothering us, if we can just lie down or sit somewhere in a quiet place and just breathe into your body and just notice what starts to happen. Even, I mean, just like all of a sudden you get this pain somewhere in your body. So you just go to the place where you feel the pain and hold it and breathe for a few moments, and then your body's going to start talking to you. There's comes that communication that says, well, thank you for listening, now let me tell you what's wrong with me. I don't like what's going on the outside, so I'm holding it inward, or whatever comes up. That's just an example, but the information lies within us, so it's learning to tune inward. But if we're constantly in a frenzy, it's very difficult to get ourselves quiet and to be able to do that. So we need to pull out of the areas that is dragging us in there. Like maybe turn the TV off for a while.
Well, let me ask you this, because I know at least for me, when you're saying turn the TV off for a while, a lot of people are needing that connection. And I think that being mandated to self isolate, being only with those of whom you have chosen for your life, your family, you have a sense or a need to connect with others still, and a lot of people are using the TV, the news, that
But
which yes, go ahead.
here's the difference. If you're using it to connect and it is giving you peace
Mm-hmm.
and tranquility, that's completely different. But if we're using it and connecting and it's keeping us uptight, keeping us worried and in fear, then we're doing the wrong thing. Absolutely the wrong thing. And we need to disconnect from it for a while. Doesn't have to be permanent. I'm not saying go bury your head in the sand, but you've got to know when you're making a connection, the intention or the desire should be to feel better, to become more at peace. So if you're connecting with something that's making you feel better and at peace, then you're doing the right thing. Then your soul is letting you know this is good. But if we're doing it and it is creating havoc and it's making us fearful, afraid, and in this tense feeling, then we're absolutely doing the wrong thing. We are forgetting who we truly are. We're missing the point of who we really are, what we're capable of doing, and we have that choice of either going into a calmer state or staying in a heightened state. So it's in who you choose. I'm not saying
Right.
shut down all communication. Just beware of what you're communicating with.
So when you're saying be aware, I think that, and also, I think you had said with regard to unified, therapy, was being aware of your own, how your body is reacting.
Acting right.
Yeah. So understanding that on a different level, like for instance, like when you're watching the news and you're looking for someone, like for me lately I've been watching Cuomo because I get calm with someone who's very transparent. Maybe that doesn't work for everybody. It's like what you're saying. So if it calms you, then it's not something that'll exacerbate your emotional state. If it makes you frantic, then maybe you need to step away and reevaluate if it's good for you or not. Is that a fair
Right.
assessment?
Well, that's that inner compass.
Yeah.
We want to do what is good for us. This is so important right now because this is what's being called. We have to wake up here and realize that we've got to stop acting the way that we've always been acting. Okay. So in order to change this, we've got to go to things that are calming, that we feel good around,
Mm-hmm.
whatever that is. I mean, if you're feeling good and it's bringing good into your life, your body will tell you. So you know when you're around something that doesn't feel good, you either start feeling sick to your stomach, the body
Yeah.
gets tense, your brain starts racing, or you feel like, oh, I got to get out of here. So I mean, if we just listen to that inner knowing, the compass, it
Yeah.
will tell us good or bad. And right now we need to, as a collective, start bringing peace, peace into ourselves,
Mm.
into ourselves.
So I've been not that I've been taught, but I've learned over time. There's different levels of bringing peace. So if you're at the far end of the spectrum, where you're just running around with your hair on fire and you just can't even see straight, and actually, I'm going to be honest, that actually happened to me the other day. I got to a point where I was holding my breath so much because of something else that was going on in my life that when something happened, it just triggered me and I broke down in tears. I just fell apart.
Right,
So I needed someone with a calming hand to help me at that point.
right,
So you're at that level. And then, so I couldn't judge myself for not being super mom, like, holding it together for my kids and everything else, because that wasn't going to happen. It wasn't going to happen. I couldn't do it for myself. So
you're
I
not going to do
couldn't,
it for anybody else, right?
yeah, judging yourself,
Yeah.
how you show up for other people is not going to help you
No,
get
no,
to that place of
you
peace.
don't ever want to judge yourself for any of this. Is what I'm saying is we've got to become aware of
Yeah.
how we're reacting to situations.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's in that we learn that our reaction, the calmer we are to the storm, the better we're going to handle it
I
in
love that.
all aspects. So that's all I'm saying. And I believe me, I know that there are moments that no matter what, you're not going to feel calm. And there's not always somebody there that you can call or a
Mhm.
hand that you can grab. But
Yeah.
what unified therapy taught me that within a split second, your body starts to react to warn you that it's about to go out of control of you're losing calmness, you're losing your adrenaline, you're going into the fight flight mode.
Right.
Okay, your body warns you within a few seconds, tells you this is about to happen, you got a choice here. Well, if we're not aware of it, we don't know. All of a sudden, we're in it, and it's like, what just happened to me? My whole
Yeah.
body is heated up. I'm turning red. I feel like I'm spitting fire. And then at that moment, it's much harder to come out of it. But if we can become aware enough that the things are triggering us, and our heart, maybe our heart starts to speed up, it's in
Yeah.
that moment that we might want to say, wait a minute, you know let me just take a breath, let me just breathe deeply a couple times and see if it doesn't change it.
You guys used to have a ball, like a yoga ball, a small yoga ball that was heavy,
Uh-huh.
and you would put it like on my stomach or my heart space,
Mhm.
and you would hold it there so I could feel my heartbeat. And I found that very powerful because what you had me do was become conscious of the ball and then the ball's impact on my heart space, which
Right,
allowed me to really go internally to
right,
see what was going on, and then you would ask, what level of pain. And what really was helpful, and I think it goes to your point with regard to like the anxiety attack, the response, the fight or flight, that it really kept my brain from going into that creative side to stay more logical into the actual object at hand. And I
Right.
think that was hugely helpful. Can you explain why that was the case? That why that's what happened?
Because it's what we're doing when we can turn the focus inward into
Mm,
the body automatically knows what to do.
right.
Our bodies are so intelligent, but we spend so much time in our head that we forget about the body. So we cut it in half. We live up here and don't feel anything down here when
Yeah.
all of this communication's going on. So it's what we did with the ball helped you to get in, and as it does with people, we have to learn how to come back home, get back in our bodies and
Yeah.
feel in our bodies. We're taught to go out of them, and that's total chaos. That's where all kinds of stuff happens that we don't want. So the ball with the pressure kept the focus, the mental focus in the body. And once we do that, we are connected. We're in.
Yeah.
And when we're in, the body has a communication that tells the brain that just
Mm.
pay attention, and then the body does it all on its own. It
And
releases and shows you things that you need to know.
so, it's interesting that this virus is a breathing. It attacks the respiratory. Our life source, our life capacity is how we take in life and breathe it out, right? So, and I think that I'm not saying I'm not a doctor, and neither one. I mean, you are a psychologist, but I am not. But I find it fascinating on a mystical, like I said, metaphysical level. Is it calling into question whether we as a collaborative are breathing life into this world, and what are we taking
Oh,
from it?
what a beautiful way of putting that. I mean, really, just feel that in your body.
Yeah.
Everybody that's on the call, what you just said, are we breathing life,
Yeah.
or are we taking life
uh,
from one another and from the planet?
wow.
And so, by just those two questions, just notice how your body responds.
Yeah.
That's that inward knowledge that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it's amazing. And one of the things about you that I have appreciated more than anything is that you bring, and maybe it's not something that I think you're aware, but you bring a lot of calm to a storm. And I imagine the storm being the body that you work with, certainly, because you are by your nature very intentional. And I love the fact that you're sitting in front of a beautiful, Hawaiian paradise behind you. I'm not sure if that's where it's supposed to be, but
It is.
that's,
It is. You got
is
it.
it? Because I'm like, that's actually where I would love to be right now, is in Maui, to be quite honest with you, outside of my apartment. But the whole idea is that your vibration that you bring to this world is very similar to the painting that you just happen to be sitting in front of. I would love, for you to, other than leaving for North Carolina, is tell us about your journey, and have it always been that way? Have you always been a calm in the storm?
No, no, absolutely not. I mean, I have a personality of always wanting to calm down, but no. When I was younger, I was a fire. I got set off immediately and didn't understand it. I just went through a lot of anger and not understanding the world or people or human beings. But I knew I have that inner knowing that said this isn't right, doesn't feel good. And then I set the journey to find out that I searched for my meaning and purpose, because I think I was 20, 25 years old. I thought, if this is life, this is all there is. This is crazy.
At
There's
25, you
for
learned
me,
that.
yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah. It was just no meaning. It was all we do is wake up and go to work, and then come home and go back and do it again
Yeah.
the next day.
Yeah.
So I knew that I wanted to do something in healing, but I wanted to do it naturally. So I set out on my journey to find natural healing, and I did Reiki and took it to master level. And it
Can
was
you can you share with everyone what Reiki is? Because I don't
Reiki.
know everything. Yeah.
Reiki is an energy healing that is just done energetically. Okay, it's your life. You use your life, your own life force energy that just comes through your hands, and everybody can do it. It's just a matter of learning what to do. So it's an energy healing. And then from there, I read everything I could read, and I looked at all different modalities because I wanted in the field of natural healing, because it
Mhm.
resonated with me, because
Mhm.
I truly believe that we could heal ourselves. And so then from there, I found UN energetics, which is another form of energy healing. And
That's YUEN,
uh-huh, yes,
energetic.
yeah, you can Google it and you'll see him on there. And it was amazing. I mean, he's a martial arts
Mm.
expert, and he teaches and it's all taught different, but it's basically the same, that we
Mm.
have this ability. We're born with it. It's our innate ability to heal ourselves, but
Yeah.
we've got to tap inward, not outward.
I
And
think I want to speak to that point because I think a lot of people give their power away very readily at that, where someone else fix me because it's too hard to fix myself. But the true healing you speak to is when you take your energy or your power back by saying, okay, this is the vessel that I show up in. This is my life. There has to be more purpose. And what do you intentionally set out to do on the path that you're willing to follow at that point? So I think that what you're talking about as far as the healing power of the body and taking your energy back is really what you've fallen into, because that's what aligns with you, correct?
yes, absolutely. It has always resonated with me. And it resonates with me on such a deep level that I don't question it, because I prove to myself what it does. And it's changed my entire life.
So how has that perspective changed your life from where you were as a 25-year-old saying there's got to be more than this in the world, right? To where you are now sitting in front of this beautiful painting of Hawaii.
I learned that everything we need is already there, because it's an internal there. It's not a material out there.
Yeah.
And when we chase outside of ourselves, we lose ourselves. When we
Oh,
come
you got to say that again. You got to
when
say that again.
when we chase outside of ourselves, we lose ourselves.
Wow.
But when we turn inward, we awaken
Wow.
to something that
I
is
love
so
that.
powerful, that I couldn't do this to you. I couldn't do it to anybody, but I could show you what I did to do it. And
Wow.
that's what this is all about. For me, it's about helping people to come back home into their bodies
Hmm.
and having a true experience within themselves. And I'm not healing people. I am just there supporting you to help you hold that energy inward.
It's like you're a magical guide.
Yeah.
I was like, you are a magical guide in many respects. If you really, and if you don't get lost in the semantics of the words, magic being
No.
something that is awe and wonderment, and certainly wisdom based, because you've done the educational bases upon which you actually build a foundation for your career path, which is what you do is you have people come back home to their bodies and to themselves, which is very empowering at that as well, correct?
Yes, it is. Because when, for instance, what's going on right now, okay?
Yeah.
If you're not able to get calm within yourself, then we're going to stay locked up in this frenzy. And guess what happens? We're going to get more of what we already do not want. We are manifesting it more. So if we can just pull away, and even if it's for 10 minutes a day, okay, whatever we can do, start somewhere and just breathe and be present with your breath or your body. Just feel for a few moments. And
Mm.
then all of a sudden you may feel like crying, or you may feel like laughing, or you may start to feel anger. All of it is absolutely okay, because it's an emotion that we all have, but we've never learned to allow ourselves to experience it.
Mm.
So this is part of being in your body.
It's part of being human, really, right?
Absolutely.
I
But
mean,
when we experience it as being human, we're taught to run outside of it. Go find something to fix this. Okay. It
Yeah.
doesn't work that way. Well, I mean, it'll help temporarily, but the true healing comes when we get inside ourselves.
It's very interesting because what's coming up for me right now with regard to what you're saying is that we seek a leader, but we can also lead from a
Absolutely.
place of true understanding of the who we are and why we're here and why we're showing up,
You
which
bet.
I think changes the dynamic and it releases the frenzy, I think, which is very calming.
Right. Right. And okay, so you figure if, a handful of us start to calm down and that trickles out,
Mm.
okay, and more start calming down, then you're going to start to feel peace. And then when we're in that peaceful
Mm.
state is when that awakening and the ideals, the proper way of handling everything comes to us. It doesn't come to us and when we're in a frantic frame of mind.
It's, even if people aren't religious, I think that the phrase "be still and know I am God" means be still and go within to your heart space. 'Cause that's where you are.
It's not
So that,
about man. Right.
yeah, it's
Yes.
about your spirit, where your spirit lies.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I, you know,
Absolutely.
I, 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 I love that you're here because I'm getting goosebumps all over, and it's not because I have a cold or anything. It's actual exciting. The vibration, certainly for me with you, is this interplay of incredible collaboration. Because what I said to you at the outset when we were preparing for this was I truly wanted people to hear from your beautiful spirit, what can be done now that would alleviate the suffering, which is in fact what we were talking about at the outset, that you wanted to help alleviate suffering in the instance.
Yes. Absolutely.
So what kinds of tips or tools would you share with those who are tuning in tonight that would give them moments of relief, basically?
Okay, so when I first started learning how to calm myself and get into that peaceful state, I started with uh, meditations that were, videos that you could listen to, that, people talk and tell you what to do. Well, when you're doing that, you can't be in the frenzy if you're listening to what they're telling you to do. So you start to realize, wait a minute, I can calm my body. It
Mhm.
starts to calm down. And then from there, for any one of us that goes outside and just sits in nature or takes a walk, that does something that is so calming. And I'm not talking about don't go out and go to the beach, get in
Or
the frenzy of where all
to pick my friends up.
the trees and the flowers are, or the
Yeah,
water, okay, where
yeah.
you have space for yourself that you can actually feel your feet on the ground or your hands, or if you're sitting or lying on the grass.
I'm going to stop you right there because that is truly one of the most profound experiences. If you take your shoes off and actually feel, like literally intentionally feel even the rug under your feet,
Yes.
and realize that's a grounding. You can actually ground yourself. For us butterflies, maybe that's not necessarily the best thing, but when you're losing your mind to an
Yes.
anxiety attack, it's a great thing to do is just sit your feet on the ground. And like you said, grass is even better, and put them in, and then just feel that you're connected to something bigger than yourself.
Right.
Which, you know,
Absolutely. And
and I
and
think,
that is a perfect way to learn to be in your body. It's
ah,
that simple, is to like take your shoes off, walk barefoot, but feel. Or if you're sitting
yeah,
on the couch, feel what the couch feels like underneath you.
yeah.
You're driving, feel the steering wheel with your hands.
Yeah, people like to open their windows, or even like if you see, I mean, I laugh because you always see a dog with their head out the window and you're wondering what the heck they're doing. But, I always just stick your head out the window and feel the wind in your face. One of
Yes.
my favorite things to do is go to the beach and feel the wind, like not right now because the beaches are closed, but the whole idea is to truly get engaged with your senses, right?
Right. So, okay, if you can't go to the beach or you can't go outside, another thing is in your house, light a candle,
Yes,
turn
yes, yes.
the lights off, and play some soft, beautiful music. And
Oh,
just sit
wow.
there for
You know,
even if it's 5 minutes.
yes, yes. I love that. I was like even the smell of the candle or just watching the flicker of the candle is just fascinating because you actually get contemplative on what the heat is emanating and everything to that effect. So that's a fantastic suggestion. I love that. You know, I want to really address this point because I think the fear and the frighteningness, I guess it's not really a word, the scariness of what we're going through, because it's something that we haven't experienced, maybe only in history books that we've read about something like this. And even then you truly don't see in the same, with the same eyes. We're totally in a different point technologically and you know, on a different scale. We're talking about like how, you know, even in our community is so much bigger because we're connected via, like you are in North Carolina, I'm in Florida. So let me ask you, when you feel frightened or unsafe or uncertain, you know, at those points in time, are there resources that you would suggest? You know, I know one of the ones I think you told me is, you know, take a rubber band and flick your wrist because it kind of brings you back to the reality of okay, Meg, don't take a flight of fancy into the, you know.
But this is the first thing that I want to say. If you're feeling the fear and the frustration, allow yourself to feel it.
Oh, okay.
Here's the difference, okay? Because this is the mistake we make. We
Mm,
don't allow ourselves to feel these kind of things, and we try immediately to stop it. Well, it's an emotion that's happening. We have to let it come through the body. But this is the beauty. If we allow ourselves to feel it and let it pass through and
mm.
not grab a hold of it and make it this big monster, it will pass within seconds.
Wow. You know, I
But
have
it
to tell you, that's absolutely on point because last Friday, when I finally allowed the tears to come, I could actually then start to understand what was going on. But so you're right, without judgment too. But
right,
that's the other thing.
yeah,
You were saying before, you know, the judgment is what gets you at the end, right? I mean, literally that you're not doing it the way you should be doing it,
right. Or I don't know how to do this.
or I don't know how.
And just the simple thing is if we just remember, okay, I feel this, it's okay. It's only a feeling. And then just let yourself have that feeling. It's honoring yourself. And then when you allow it, you say, okay, let it come, then it's going to come through you and out of you in no time at all. It's not going to stay. It's
Kevin
really,
is Kevin's making a comment on the feed that says, "Whatever you feed will grow. Choose wisely and with intention." So what you're saying there, even the release or the allowing yourself to feel, you're not feeding it. You're just allowing it to
right.
process. Correct?
Right. You don't want to grab a hold of it and make it a story. Then you're caught in it. Okay.
Okay.
Is what I'm saying is when that emotion comes up, you feel like you need to cry. And most of us say no.
Yes.
No, you have to say, okay, I'm going to cry. And if you're in a place that you're not comfortable, then go where you can cry and
Okay.
just let the tears come. Because as soon as you do, those tears are going to end really fast. And it's the
Yeah.
same with all emotions. You have to just let them come through us and not try to do anything with them
You
because
know,
they will.
I've said in the past, you know, since I like to call myself a wordsmith, you know, the word emotion, if you break it down into the different, you know, the A is the out of, and motion is Latin for motere, which means to move out of. So emotions at its heart and soul are those that need to, even the happiness has to move out of you. And
Yes,
then anger and
all of it.
sadness, all of it move through you and out of you and then allow that human experience to be fluid, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And this is what I find now that when I find myself getting caught in something, I'll start when as soon as I get caught in it, then I realize I'm caught. And it's like, oh, Barbara, look at that. Isn't that something?
Yeah.
You just got yourself really stuck on this. And then as
Yeah.
soon as I do that, I realize what just happened and it just goes. And then I start laughing. It doesn't stay. It's when I don't
Right.
realize that I'm stuck in it, it gets bigger, bigger, and bigger, and bigger. And then it's
Right.
like, I immediately start feeling my body. I'm like, okay, I'm in trouble. I got to get out
Yeah.
of this. So that's usually when I'll go outside and I'll just go sit on the ground, on the earth. And
So are those kind of resources or techniques, are they like they build your immune system really? Instead of
absolutely.
depleting it with the cortisol will drain you, that allowing, so you're not fighting it with unnecessary, strength or whatever. You also allow the immune system to do their thing. So you're like back to what you were saying. That's when the body is capable of
Heal
healing
itself.
itself.
That's right. Because if we're
Yeah.
in fight and flight, we are disease in our body. We are making illness, not meaning to. It's not deliberate, but we have to just let go and get ourselves grounded back in. And they
So,
have.
so Mike is saying here that he burns a candle in the early morning when working in his study for 3 to 4 days a week. It's calming and relaxing. And I think that the fact that he has a pattern that a practice, a habitual practice that's very calming and relaxing, that's life giving to him, right? Where he can be at that place where he can breathe out life. Then that's like a great ritual to establish
Right.
in your life, which I think goes to your point as well. Setting up patterns to help us with our triggers. Really, I think that's really healthy.
Well, and it's learning what our triggers are. So the
Yeah.
more aware we become of what triggers us, then that's when we know in that few seconds that something's about to happen, and we can do something different. We can move in a different direction. We can do something to snap ourselves out of it so we don't go into it and don't get stuck in it.
So if you would just so people who may not know what exactly are triggers, like for instance in psychology, what would you mean by
The,
saying the term
the,
triggers?
the triggers are things outside of us that create an emotion in us by us seeing or hearing something. So, say that you're sitting down watching television and somebody on the television says something that was maybe said to you as a child. Okay, so here's a
Mm,
trigger. You hear two words that you heard and don't even realize it is, but all of a sudden they said those two words and you find yourself getting angry and upset. That's a trigger from
right.
what they said. And triggers are everywhere because it's an opportunity for us all to learn, to
Oh, I like that.
to let go.
Oh, that's really good. Triggers are opportunities for us to learn to let go. Amazing. If we
Yes.
see it that way. It's
Yes,
when we don't
it
see it
is.
that way.
It
Yeah.
absolutely is. It absolutely is
Wow.
because you'll notice triggers can be real tiny and then we
Mhm.
can get over it real quick, or they become really huge. So the ones that we're not learning to get over to heal is the ones that get bigger and bigger, that they come more often to us.
Yeah.
And
And
it's just a matter, and all the story is learning to come back into your body and know who we truly are. Remember who we really are.
remember who we are. And
Yeah.
when you say remember, what does that mean for some people who don't understand that?
To
Remember who
remember who we really are takes you out of fear,
mm,
because when you remember who you are, you can't be in fear. You're going to be in peace,
right.
in total peace. Now, not all the time because you can't live that way. I mean, we're in human bodies. We're to experience things, and
Yeah.
believe me, we're going to, no matter who we are.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the difference being is how long are we going to stay there, or where are we going to let it take us?
Wow. I love that. And, I find, and we were talking about this before, and I really want to address this because I think it's amazing. Um, Life prepares you, right? For those moments that may seem very insurmountable to the naked eye, but had you not gone through those experiences prior, then you would not be aptly ready to, with the tools and resources that you gain, to deal with the present moment. And it's funny because all of this is happening, and then you get triggered, and then you forget I've just spent 9 years doing what I needed to do from the last catastrophic experience in my life, be it whatever that is, to handle and to. So when I would say that to you, I know that we were saying it's like it's a beautiful thing because it becomes, like you said, an opportunity not only to learn and to let go, but it's also an opportunity to learn to grow
Absolutely.
further. And
Absolutely.
it's kind of like, they, like even the doctors, every doctor out there right now who has gone to medical school, and they have these books that teach them so much, but it's until you actually get into the hospitals and see live cases where you make the real decisions that you're able to put the pattern to what you learn into practice. And I think that that is truly on interpersonal way as well, that you, with these experiences, you can't protect yourself from life, right? Life happens.
No, no, you can't.
But as far like you
No.
can't. Unfortunately, because you always want to see, well, maybe some children had really bad experiences when they're younger, but you know,
Oh,
those innocent eyes of a child is a very nice place, but um, it's
not
not
always.
something that, yeah, yeah. So coming to life now with that kind of approach and something that maybe from your perspective, you know, what has your foundation been up to this point that's allowed you to have the kind of perspective that you have now?
Okay, well, for me, it was, as you know, that I lost my son to suicide 8 years ago. And before this happened, I thought everything was perfect. I mean, I knew that I was doing all the work and all of that, but I thought everything was perfect with my son. And only to find out, of course, it wasn't. But that act put me in a journey in my life to say that either I heal this within me or it's going to kill me. And
Mm.
I knew I didn't want to die. I knew that I wanted to heal and that I promised that I would help as many people as I could to have that same experience because we do not
Wow.
have to suffer. And it
Wow.
was through that deep, deep, deep grief that I went through that I came to the other side of realizing that there is such a bigger picture to all of this that we can't possibly understand. But when we learn to accept what is, then
Mm.
we become totally okay. I mean, it
Yeah.
just changes our entire life. So that really set my deep, deep journey on
Hmm.
where I'm at today. And I get to places where I think, oh man, this is amazing. Now I'm like, I can't believe it. And then
Yeah.
I wake up the next morning, and then how it's like, okay, here comes scenario number two. It's like,
That's so
really?
true. Like,
Yeah.
how could that happen? For me, it happens in the morning. I may be feeling great. In the afternoon, I'm like, ah, it sucks again. What happened? You know, it's like, you know, like we were saying before, all sorts of expletives come out of my mouth. I was like, what happened to my Zen? I just
Yeah.
had it like 5 minutes
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah. When do
It's
I get
really,
a break? Right.
yeah.
And,
I was like, when can I just take a breather from this crap? You know?
and then I realized, then I learned that I still have to learn how to come back home, back into my body, and
Yeah.
allow the moments that I'm having to have them and not get stuck in it. Because is what I have learned is that everything will and is okay.
Wow.
It's
Yeah.
all in the perspective.
One of my favorite mantras that Anthony DeMello, he's a Jesuit, you know, he says in his book Awareness is all is well, even in the chaos.
Yes. And he's
And
right.
and if you can find that wellness even in the chaos,
Mhm.
then that is where peace lies,
Yes.
right?
Yes. And you
So
only find it inward.
it's inward, right?
Yes. You
So
don't find it outward.
I love synchronicity in life. And I swear to God that I had the conversation with one of my best friends who's in Spain right now. And we were talking about how they've been going through this whole quarantine. Like they can't leave their house unless they have a dog. And like if they have to have like permission now to do so, from what I understand. And she said, you know, as an introvert, because she's a true introvert, you know, she was saying that it's not a bad thing because she gets permission now to do that. It's for those who need the socialization, who are the extroverts. Like I saw somebody's meme that says, "I'm a hugger. This is a big problem for me." You know, you know, it's like
Right.
not to be able to do that. But what I was trying to say, my whole point was back to your whole point, like with regard to you don't need to wait for it to be okay externally for
No,
you to be okay
no, because
internally.
that's we may wait our whole life.
Yeah, yeah. For the everything to be perfect, right?
Yes, yeah,
For it's all perspective, right? If it's all an illusion, really, anyway, because it's how I choose to see my day, you know, and like what you were saying, I think you know, as I think humans, we are survivors, but not even that. We want to thrive. We want to have that great experience where like especially Americans like suck the marrow of joy out of the world, you know? But I think the whole balance perspective we were talking about before as well is where do you come to a place of balance so that the whole give and take, circle of give and take is in perfect wholeness rather than taking more than you actually give or
Right.
give more than you actually get back, you know?
Exactly.
And can you speak to that balance and
Well,
to
the balance is the part that you know when you're out of balance because it's something is completely off. You feel the difference of it. And we have been treating one another in this entire world out of balance. So this is an opportunity for
yeah.
of us to really, really grow and learn and do good with this.
So so I love this part because my show is this whole thing, whatever this is called, is about manifesting. And I love that you just said that this is an opportunity for all of us. And I think it really is to be in a collaborative way, be a part of the solution rather than waiting for the solution, right?
We're
Um,
not separate. Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
we're not separate. And it's I was reading it's the whole follow the golden rule idea, whereas, I mean, it's kind of like, Jesus 101, do unto others as you would like them to do unto you. Well, you wouldn't want to hoard all the toilet paper, so that other people don't have toilet paper. You don't want to do that because ultimately, when you're in a karmic balance, then people will call you if you need it. They'll take care of each other. You take care of each other. And to understand from a place of that is a place of power. Really, it is where you know that you'll be taken care of. Not that someone's going to step in, but that as long as you're showing up, and giving whatever service and beautiful talents you got, like you do to the world, like for you being the healer that you are, then the universe will take care of you. All is well, and everything will happen for your highest good. So now going back to you, um, keeping in mind, the quote for today for this is by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. I think it's very appropriate for us as we stay home with our families and friends that are living with us. She says that there's one sad truth in life I've found while journeying east and west. The only folks we really wound are those we love the best. We flatter those we scarcely know, we please the fleeting guests, and deal full many a thoughtless blow to those who love us best. And I thought that's such a profound moment in time because we are surrounded by those who, they're your tribe. And even to those who we talk to, like even whoever's on the feed tonight, this is the tribe that we choose, so how we treat them. So now I turn back to you with all these beautiful insights you've given us. What's important to you now in this moment and historically in this moment in time?
Is what the thing that is very important to me right now is to love
Mm.
everything, everyone and everything without judgment, because
I guess
that
it
one
starts with
thing you
yourself
cannot
first.
destroy is love.
Is that for yourself first though, right? If that's,
Absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely. And
So
then
how do you start there with, turning the mirror on yourself and yeah, how do you
by
start there?
by appreciating everything that's already around you, going back to the simplicity of life, letting
Simplicity.
go of all of the material things that
Mm.
we think we need, that we overwork ourselves to get, and
Mm.
just being in that moment of looking at a tree and realizing how beautiful that tree is and what it
Mm.
actually gives to us to live on this earth,
Yeah.
the birds, the animals, our loved ones, to look deeper into them, not the actions that they're doing on the outside, but what lies within them,
Yeah, I
and
think it's
just
beautiful.
bringing yourself into that peace. When we find peace, we find love.
So
They
by
bring that
by so by decluttering our environments and ourselves, the simplicity, and therein lies love. Yes.
Absolutely. Love
Yeah,
is everywhere if we
love
just look.
it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So I guess at this point, like, what do you prioritize in this season of life? What would you what
For
would give
me, to live life to its fullest and
mm,
to be in joy.
oh,
To find the joy in the simplest things, because it's like now we're all home, so
mm,
for most, or for a lot of people, I can't speak for most, it's chaotic because what we don't want to be home, we want to be running everywhere else. For
mhm,
me, I am so grateful that I have to be home because now I'm not worried about where I need to be showing up, what I
mm,
need to be doing out there. And now it's about, well, I've got this home and I have all these things that I can do here that I
yeah.
need to do that I ignore because I'm so busy running out the door to go do other things. So it's like I just changed my perspective, and it's been very joyful for me. I mean, I sit down and watch a movie with my husband, and it's wonderful. It's like going to the movies.
Yeah,
Before, it's like, when is this movie going to be over? Because we got this, and this to do. It's
yeah.
bringing us back into simplicity, to the
Oh,
simpler things. And we don't want to miss that. I think
so
it's
instead
very
of seeing
important.
this as something that's forced upon us, it's an opportunity to connect.
Absolutely an opportunity, because what is one of the biggest things we are not doing is not connecting. We're all running around like we're the only soul on this earth, caught up in our own head. So we forgot about communities. We have our own little tiny community, but
Yeah.
we forgot how to live with one another, and we absolutely forgot the truth that we are all one.
Mm.
And
Well, I would love for you. I know what that means for me, but what does that mean that we are all one?
that we are all the same, that we all have to breathe, we all bleed, we all want to succeed,
Mhm.
and we all want to be happy and
Yeah,
be loved.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's we are all one, and we all vibrate and interact with one another, good or bad.
Mm.
So what we do to one is done to another.
That's beautiful. That really is beautiful. I think that when you come to the plate with that in mind, that it's the golden rule. I mean, how I treat you is truly the experience I'm going to have for myself.
Absolutely.
It changes everything. It changes everything, to the gratitude we give to the people who are in the hospitals right now, taking care of our loved ones, or those that we don't know who are in anywhere, in Italy and in China and Korea and the United States, to how they show up in service. That is all about the and how that has a ripple effect on you and me,
Hmm.
because
Absolutely.
when we see people showing up like that, it gives us a sense of pride of being part of the human race. And I think that, and that goes to the small, like to the even to the people who are delivering our food or who go to the grocery stores every day to make sure that we have those. Because I mean, I don't think it's a good idea for any of us to go out hunting and gathering at this point. But I'm just like saying, these are people who are doing a service for us, and
Right.
if you do the same for them, I think
Right.
that's a beautiful thing.
And
I think,
that's how you know that we're all one. See, because what we do for one another, we're doing for ourselves.
yeah,
This is survival. This is how we live, but we forget that part.
yeah, because we've been so separate
Yes.
for so long.
Yes.
So it's bringing us back into connection, which I think
Yes. It's so important.
is so important. And hopefully we learn from this moment in time that we really do need each other. Like, we are interconnected with each other.
I believe that the ones are meant to learn right now are
Mhm.
learning, and they
Yeah,
will.
yeah,
And there's going to be ones that don't, and that's just the way it works. But
yeah,
as a collective, I think we're going to see a huge shift.
I
I
think
really
so.
do.
I think so. And let me ask you, since we've gotten your tools and practices, uh, how do you see your journey now from this point on?
You know what? It's so funny because I was thinking of that the other day before you even asked me. It's like, okay, I'm into phase 3 of my life. I'll be 60 in July. So it's like, okay, now what do you do, kiddo? This is completely different from everything else. But I'm getting to this place now that the work that I want to do and the journey that I want is to really get out there and help others find that peace in themselves the way I found it. And however that may be, however that may be. So that is definitely what I want to do. I don't want to sit home anymore and let the world go by and knowing that I have things that I can share. I just want to share it with people.
Wow.
So
So
this
what's stopping you from doing that?
uh, myself, because of the transition after leaving Florida and then coming here to South Carolina. It's that journey has been up and down and unstable in the beginning, and it threw me off balance. But I'm coming back 100%. So all the work that I've done before, I had a plan, I had a way of doing it, and a know how and all of that.
Yeah.
And now it's like I've got this new slate and I have to figure out how I'm going to get it out there, because that was what the problem was, because I was going from Miami to South Carolina to Tennessee, back to South Carolina, and then back to Miami. So I felt like I was just floating for 2 years back and forth, not knowing what in the world to do. But now we're permanent here in South Carolina. So it's changing, meeting a community of people. And
I
it's,
always say when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. I'm not saying I'm your teacher at all, but
oh,
I'm
yes,
saying,
you
no,
teach.
I'm saying the opportunity to show up. And I think that the fact that you said resounding yes to this conversation tonight certainly aligned with where you are and your desire to be of service in a new way.
Yes.
That, from a place of your own personal calm after the transition, that you're able to do so. So, I love the fact that I always get excited about the people who show up on my journey. And it's interesting that everyone who I see on the feed have all been a part of my journey, and Kevin and Mike and you and my cousin-in-law, Ann Gale, is on here. I find that it's all these beautiful faces along the way that I get to introduce you to. And at the same time, you're ready to do your thing, I think, now on a greater scale.
Yeah.
I was saying to you before, I said I've been in isolation, even though I've been in isolation for the last 2.5 years with writing and stepping out of my own challenges from the one career to the next. And I think that one of the things that you said tonight that really was a message for me that resonated was to allow the feelings. And I don't know, it's a process. And when you allow the feelings to actually be processed, then you're ready for the next incredible, experience. Mind you, 5 minutes you can have Zen, the next 5 minutes you might be in tears, but to know that's okay. That's okay. So, one of the things I had asked you at the outset was to set your intention. So, can you please share your beautiful intention tonight with everybody?
And my intention is to manifest a place where I can help others awaken to their inner truth, is all.
And what number did you pick?
65.
Okay, so that's intention to manifest a place for others to say it again.
To manifest a place where I can help others to
Okay,
awaken to their truth
I
on a
love that.
larger scale.
And your number is 65. Now, usually I have you read it, but I'm going to read it tonight.
Yeah,
So that's
that's the book.
because,
Sorry.
yes. So, oh my God, this is kind of interesting. So the insight is take a giant leap. Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
I got
And
goosebumps.
the quote is from Jules Verne, the French novelist, poet, and playwright. You will travel in a land of marvels, which is so exciting. I don't know. I always say that your intention is for everybody. So we get to share in this beautiful synchronistic insight, or like Kevin was saying, a God incidence. Perhaps you've thought you do not have enough hours in your days to accomplish all the good that needs to be done. Today, you get an added 24 hours to travel in this land of marvels. While this fabulous opportunity comes only once every 4 years. Wow. This is actually February 29th, so it was leap year, which is kind of interesting that that would come up again because that was right before we entered into this wonderful month of March of the
Yes.
profound wisdom, which I
Yeah.
find fascinating, you know?
I do too.
Everything is for a reason,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Yeah, never rare occasions. So the leap day was added to the Gregorian calendar as a corrective measure because the Earth does not orbit around the sun in precisely 365 days. And today can be seen as a magical day in which your actions can lend a restorative quality to enhance your future. Take a giant leap to right the direction of your life. Take advantage of this extra time to venture forth and live your dreams. From sunrise to sunset, appreciate this extra gift in this rather uncommon year. Oh, wow, that's kind of interesting too. And make plans to set a course in a better direction by letting go and leaping into a marvelous new course of action. With the magical key, close your eyes, make a wish, and ceremoniously take a leap to see it come true.
Mhm.
So, wow. I was going to say, wow, you have this extra time right now to truly contemplate the direction of your life. How did that speak to you, Barbara?
Oh, with I had goosebumps.
Oh, you too. I was like,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, that was profound, and I understood it on levels I can't explain,
oh,
but
wow.
I fully understood it. And
Wow.
nothing is by chance. It's all part of the plan.
It's all a part of the
But I
plan.
promise you this. I promise this is going all going to end in a beautiful way.
Mm.
I mean, I'm not, please, I'm not discarding the people's grief and what they're going through, but the after this storm, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be a different world.
Yeah. I do want to say, I want to share your information after this. I don't know if I can share your
Yes,
so
you
why
can.
don't you tell everyone your whatever information you want to share so that they'll be able to access you, and then I'll put it in the feed at the end of the interview.
You can put my email and you can put my phone number.
Okay, your email is
BLEMPEREUR at msn.com.
okay,
Lempereur.
okay.
Last name.
And people can contact you with regard to
And whatever, if they want to just talk
okay.
or have a question, I would be happy to answer.
Oh
And
wow.
they can send me a text on my phone if you want. And it's 305. I still have a Miami number 305 401 2914.
Awesome. Awesome. I love the fact that your intention was to manifest a place where everyone can come to a better understanding of their experience here and heal in ways that they never thought were possible. Certainly, your impact on my life was that I didn't know if I could meet the challenge, let alone surmount the challenge. And I don't believe in coincidences. I think everything happens synchronistically, and I think that your particular energy coming into my life was something that was a godsend. So I'm happy to share your extraordinariness with everybody tonight. I think that you're amazingly profound with the wisdom that you have gained from your challenges. And I can't wait to see where your journey takes you because I can only imagine it's going to be bright where you can shine a light on so many things for other people to gain from. So I want you to have the final word of inspiration for everybody because I think that once we all draw a breath in from this experience, then they can always remember perhaps what you have to say right now. So take it away, Barbara.
Well, for being, first of all, I want to thank you very much for allowing me and inviting me to do this because it was amazing.
Mm.
And my message is remember that we are all lights, that
Mhm.
we this body just houses something much more powerful inside, and we
Wow.
can learn to tap into it.
Wow.
And we all have that ability. We just need to know what direction to go is all.
Wow. Amazing. And as my son does take water and ice out of the machine while we're going for, in my, I don't feel so bad because all of all the major networks are all doing this from home. So you can have them. Anyway, then let that sustain us, right? Let
Yes.
let the water sustain us.
Yes.
Well, and so we can be the light for others. And if you get a chance, take your shoes off and feel the ground underneath you. If you
Yes.
feel a little out of control and need to ground yourself, and know that we all got each other in all this. So thank you so much for your beautiful light, Barbara. Like I said, I mean everything I said. You are a powerful source of beauty for many people to see. So I want to thank you for your time tonight. This has been fascinatingly and amazing, and I adore you.
Thank you.
So all of you guys tonight, in this experience, be light for others where you can, and if you need help along the way, grab on to the collaborative connections around you. Barb has offered her beautiful time with her connections tonight. I'm always there for you. And Katrina's on here, and she's also another powerful light in my life. Thank you so much for tuning in, all of you. I love you all. I remember that we're all deliberative creators of our life. We don't have to wait for something to happen to understand that. Let your souls be guided by your dreams, and let's all raise the positive vibrations on this planet so that we all can come live our bliss together. So we take care of each other and we serve each other. So there's this perfect balance of the give and take where we're connected to everything, including nature. So thank you again, Barb. Let's love ourselves exactly where we are. No judgments. Reach out to each other and continue to spread love. Blessings and bliss to you all. Thank you again for joining me tonight. Thank you all for your comments, and have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your evening. God bless everybody.
You too. Thank you, Meg. I love